Now on CoastTV News.
Parking in Lewes. The debate continues over how to solve what the city calls its biggest issue.
Future growth and traffic. State and county leaders are looking at what more development could mean for the community.
A cabinet meeting with President Trump. The status of opening the Strait of Hormuz.
We have the potential for severe weather this evening. We have a yellow alert. Looks like that best threat is off to our south and west. Then the sun returns finally with drier conditions. Your complete forecast is coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Parked cars filling downtown Lewes. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with the ongoing effort to create more parking in the first town.
Today, Lewes Mayor and City Council looked at recommendations from the Lewes Parking Working Group. That group has been meeting for months to draft solutions.
As the city tries to make everybody happy, from businesses to employees and visitors and those who call Lewes home, CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us what's in store.
The Lewes Parking Working Group presenting a pilot parking program. The group formally submitted the plan to Mayor and City Council with, in their words, the hope that swift and meaningful action will be taken. Now they want a whole different group, an ad hoc committee, to be formed, and it's that committee that would create the master plan. Just the latest step to try and solve a problem downtown business owner Mishko Seto says is urgent.
We just need to start taking action because so many of these ideas have been regurgitated over the years and nothing ever gets done.
One proposal discussed again today was the idea of paving this gravel lot here at Otis Smith Park to add about 60 parking spaces. Now this park is just over the bridge on Savannah Road, and one thing mentioned was the ideal location because it's right between the beaches and downtown. The other proposed lot is here at Schley Avenue that would add about 140 spaces. The group originally said these lots would be designated as employee lots, but today the group's saying these spaces would really be for anyone.
I feel like it's the most I've ever seen happening. I mean, that people want to take the action. No, I'm feeling like, because people see it. This is the most crowded we've been with residents, all this new construction in town and so forth. But, it's got to be fair for everybody.
Another idea in the proposed program, designated residential parking zones on Mulberry, Market, and Chestnut Streets between 3rd and 4th Streets. People at the meeting had opinions about who should be on this ad hoc committee.
I think as a resident and a business owner, I want that committee to have as broad a perspective as possible.
For now, the crowds keep showing up, the parking problems persist, and the answers are tied up in committees while drivers just want somewhere to leave their cars so they can enjoy everything Lewes has to offer. In Lewes, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
City of Lewes said it does almost have $500,000 set aside for tackling parking issues like this. The mayor said today she hopes council in June will make a decision on those two proposed parking lots.
More cars, more development, and more drivers in Sussex County. That means more time sitting in traffic. As the area continues to grow, state and county leaders are trying to stay in the fast lane when it comes to future traffic planning. A new coastal corridors workshop this week focusing on development, congestion, and what the Route 9 and Route 113 area could look like years down the road. With development continuing to expand, state and county leaders say the goal is to balance development with infrastructure while addressing safety and traffic issues. Locals who drive on those roads every day say that traffic's a headache.
I don't believe that they're putting as much emphasis on the infrastructure as they are on allowing builders to keep building. I mean, it's definitely, they're not keeping up, and it causes a lot of headaches for us locals here in the main season, in tourist season.
Leaders say the view on all this is very long range. It might require up to 40 years, needing multiple phases and involving comprehensive planning.
Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Cambridge. Ooh, some ominous looking storm clouds out there. As we check in with our first alert meteorologist Bob Trihey on our weather. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, Manny. We do have a yellow alert for the potential of severe weather, but so far it's been pretty quiet across Sussex County. Just some run-of-the-mill showers here back through Salisbury, but you can see not a lot going on right now. The heavier activity was down near Chincoteague as that activity is moving offshore. We have a stationary boundary right over the top of us, and you can see this train of showers and storms extending back into Virginia right now, and that's where the severe weather is. There's that stationary boundary, and eventually a cold front will sink in later tonight tonight, ending the humid and stormy weather. We did have a severe thunderstorm watch earlier for the midshore and areas to our south, but now that is well to our south in the Hampton Roads area. But there's still a slight chance of severe weather from Salisbury to Crisfield, Chincoteague, maybe gusty winds, maybe some large hail, but it looks like that chance is going down as we're seeing very muggy conditions, temperatures in the 70s and 80s, and dew points basically tropical. So we'll be watching showers and storms. Once again, the heaviest activity central and southern parts of Delmarva, and then later tonight I think we'll see another push of showers that will be moving through, but that will not be severe. So this evening, keep an eye to the sky, be weather aware for that potential of storms, especially to the south. Then the sun finally returns with lower humidity. I'll have the timing on that coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. The Delaware State Police have arrested a 15-year-old from Maryland after they say he stole a truck and fled officers. Officers say just after 10 p.m. on Monday, a truck and trailer had been stolen near Arthursville Road in Hartley. When troopers tried to stop the truck by POW MIA Parkway, the driver sped away before later crashing and running away. The 15-year-old was charged with motor vehicle theft, resisting arrest, among other charges. In Milford, the city has announced that the special election that was scheduled for June 13th, that's been canceled. City leaders say the filing deadline of May 22nd had no nominating petitions submitted for Ward 3 council seat, and that the solicitation of candidates for the Ward 3 seat will be reposted later on.
28-year-old Alexis Torres Fragoso has been arrested after a home improvement fraud case in Felton. Investigating police found that back in April, a victim entered a purchase agreement with Fragoso and sent him a deposit. But detectives say Fragoso failed to get proper permits for the work and would not get a refund when asked for one. President Trump says any deal with Iran must be, in his words, perfect.
NBC's Monica Alba shows us how Secretary of State Rubio says we will see what progress can be made over the next hours or days.
3 months into the war with Iran and with the ceasefire holding on precariously, President Trump says both sides are still talking peace, but no deal yet.
Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be.
And not making any definitive statements on when hostilities could end.
They're negotiating on fumes, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who's taken part in those diplomatic discussions, avoided a time frame for a deal.
There's an agreement to be made. We want that to be made. I think there's been some progress and some interest, and we'll see over the next few hours and days whether progress could be made.
This follows a weekend of confusion caused by the president's own social media posts. On Saturday, writing a deal was, quote, largely negotiated. The next day posting, if I make a deal. Meanwhile, in Tehran, Iranian state media claiming it had a draft of the framework the U.S. and Iran are working on, and that it includes the U.S. lifting its blockade, and that traffic through the Strait of Hormuz would be managed by Iran and Oman. The White House pushing back, calling the report a complete fabrication. But the meeting wasn't all centered on Iran. The president celebrating a political flex with a clean sweep for all the candidates he backed in Tuesday's primaries.
Last night was incredible. Not only Texas, but so many other places, and the numbers were fantastic. And they've really been that way for a year.
Trump endorsed Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton over four-term incumbent John Cornyn, which could mark an end to his 4-decade-long public servant career. Since the war began, oil and gas prices have soared, and today the president reiterated that he believes prices will drop after the conflict ends. But he also said any deal must be perfect. Monica Alba, NBC News, the White House.
Phone usage in schools, rules that a new state law are trying to create, and why Maryland says this is important.
We're seeing showers and thunderstorms right now, central and southern parts of Delmarva, and some of that rough weather could get a little farther north, but it stays mainly to the south. The latest on that threat, and sunshine and drier weather on the way. Details coming up.
But first, a look from above at the Bay Bridge, the history of the iconic structure, up next.
America 250 on Delmarva, brought to you by Johnny Janosic.
The Chesapeake Bay divides Maryland's mainland from the eastern shore. Ferries were once popular for bridging the gap until traffic increased and they could no longer handle the demand. Bay Bridge proposals appeared as early as 1907, but plans made in 1927 were scrapped by the stock market crash of 1929. It wasn't until 1939 that the Maryland General Assembly authorized bridge construction, which was then delayed again by World War II. Finally, construction on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge began in 1947 and was completed 5 years later. The Army Corps of Engineers would not approve the design unless it crossed the shipping channel at a 90-degree angle, resulting in the bridge's unique curve. At the time it was built, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge was the longest over-water structure in the world at 4.2 miles long. Today, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge transports between 20 to 30 million cars every year, an important connection point of Maryland.
Find savings everywhere you turn. Memorial Day savings are extended at Johnny Janasek. Get our guaranteed lowest prices on furniture and mattresses. Then take an extra 20% off or 0% APR financing for 60 months. Plus 10% off all Tommy Bahama styles. Get this 5-piece immersive sound sectional for just $29.88 or this 3-piece outdoor sectional only $16.88. But the Memorial Day sale ends Monday only at Johnny Janasek.
It was a warm and very muggy day for Delmarva. It was that air you could wear, a very juicy atmosphere. And we've got threatening clouds right now on the Irish Ice Camp in Lewes at the present time. Our storyline this evening is we have a yellow alert for the potential of severe weather, but that's beginning to wane. I think that's farther to our south that we could be looking at damaging winds and large hail. And then the sun finally returns on Thursday. It's been a while. It will be comfortable, drier, and we're looking at temperatures in the 70s to near 80 degrees. But right now, it's still pretty sticky out there. Seeing the clouds, we've seen some showers across Sussex County. Nothing in the way of thunderstorms. In fact, it's just clouds now from Georgetown to Salisbury and back towards the coast. You have to go farther to the south. That's where we're looking at some of those showers now around Chincoteague and Point South. You had some heavier storms earlier on, and you can see those storms that were coming out of Virginia and across southern parts of Delmarva, but pretty much missing us as we have a stationary boundary right over the top of us, and there are more big storms back to the west across central parts of Virginia. Some of those are severe, and then back into West Virginia as well, as we're tracking a cold front that will drop to the south and continue to bring us that chance for showers and thunderstorms, but the risk for severe weather continues to wane. In fact, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch. That's for the Hampton Roads area. We had one earlier for the Midshore and Point South, but that has been allowed to expire. It's very mild and muggy out there, upper 70s to 80 in Gumboro right now, 78 in Millsboro, Bethany Beach at 79, and the dew points into the low 70s, indicating the very humid air mass. And we have light winds, but we could be looking at stronger winds with a slight risk of severe weather from Salisbury down to Crisfield and Chincoteague. But I think it's even farther south of there that we could be looking at some large hail and damaging winds, and then lower chances to the north. So as we go through this evening, it's very mild and muggy, and we could still see some showers and storms. Berlin back through Fenwick Island, maybe a break for a time, and then overnight we'll see another disturbance move through, give us a chance of more showers very late tonight, and then finally here comes a northerly breeze. We start to dry things out. We're into the 70s to near 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon, and then falling into the 60s. And look at these temperatures by Friday morning. Wow, some upper 40s possible with low to mid 50s, and then by the afternoon, gorgeous conditions, lots of sunshine, temperatures in the mid 70s, and that humidity drops a lot. Comfortable as we go through the end of the week into the weekend, as we're tracking those storms once again mainly to our south this evening, maybe as far north as Wycomico County, and then that next disturbance drops in out of the north, some late night showers, and then we finally clear it out as we head into tomorrow. Could tack on a few more hundredths of an inch of rain. If you get under one of those heavier thunderstorms farther south, maybe a half inch to about an inch, as we're looking at gorgeous conditions at the coast tomorrow with a northerly breeze with mid to upper 70s. And then heading into Friday, it's looking dry and it's cooler into the weekend. A slight chance of a shower, but I think all in all, the weekend is dry with below normal temperatures to start the month of June. Get ready for that. 65 tonight, showers and storms ending late. 80 tomorrow with much lower humidity. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 78 Friday. Pretty cool into the weekend, only low to mid 70s with a mix of sun and clouds, and maybe another chance of light showers early next week, and temperatures still below average.
Thank you, Bob. Maryland school systems are soon going to have to plan for phone-free school days. Under new state law, local boards of education are going to be required to create policies limiting the use of student cell phones and other personal devices from the first bell all the way to the last. Paul Lemley, president of the Maryland State Education Association, says that phones, just like this one, become a distraction from both learning and social interaction.
Research is pretty strong on personal devices having a negative impact on student learning. So we want to see that reversed to the extent that we can.
Lemley says local school systems, they're going to still need to decide how rules are enforced, what happens during emergencies, and how to keep the burden off individual teachers. The new phone restrictions must be implemented by the 2027-2028 school year. Coming up on the Delmarva Sports Network at 7 p.m., the Zap Pro Skimboarding World Championships kick off, and at 10:30 p.m. you can catch the final score.
We salute M. Dean Peoples. A devoted member of the Roxana Volunteer Fire Company, Daffy Peoples gave nearly 13 years of service to the Roxana and Millville Volunteer Fire Companies, inspired by his grandfather's legacy of duty. Alongside the firehouse, he built a 30-year career in trucking, earning recognition as Delaware Driver of the Year in 2015. A husband of 25 years to his wife Tracy and a cherished father, he was remembered as a steady, faith-grounded presence for his family. Lost in 2021 to complications from COVID-19, Peoples was recently enshrined at the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Emmitsburg, Maryland, the first member of the Roxana Department to receive this national honor. His legacy of service and family endures.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
People in Worcester County can soon sip and stroll at future festivals and street events. Governor Wes Moore signed the bill letting bars and restaurants sell alcohol and approved to-go cups in certain event areas. Leaders say they hope to reduce drink lines and drive business to local storefronts during major events. The new law will keep strict ID checks with sales, wristbands, sealed cups, and a ban on glass containers. The law goes into effect July 1st. With colorectal cancer on the rise in young adults, the American Cancer Society has new testing options and updated guidelines, recommending blood tests to screen for colorectal cancer for those 45 or older, that would be me, who won't or can't get a colonoscopy. The new guidelines suggest additional stool tests which can detect colorectal cancer signs. Screening can improve survival if a cancer is diagnosed before symptoms begin, as treatment can start early. Landing a summer job as an American teen, it might be tough this year. A new forecast from consulting firm Challenger, Gray & Christmas says about 790,000 jobs are going to go to teens in May and July. That's lower than last summer, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics says it could be the weakest season on record. Economists point to inflation, higher fuel costs, slower hiring, and more technology usage. Teens also compete with older workers for seasonal jobs while balancing other life obligations. And now here's the live look into Laurel. We'll have one more check on the forecast coming up after the break. Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, continued coverage on the investigation into the City of Lewes. In fact, Madeline Overturf working right now on some breaking news. We'll have that at 6.
And it appears the threat for severe weather is beginning to wane. We're seeing clouds across Sussex County. Farther south, we're seeing showers, just run-of-the-mill showers, some storms back in Virginia. But I think as we go through the evening hours, that threat for severe weather will continue to be farther to the south. So this evening for Sussex County, it's muggy, it's mild, and I think we could be looking at another round of showers very late tonight. And our umbrella winner today is Joseph Saraceni from Dagsboro. Congratulations to him. And call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast, sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. The sun's finally back by Thursday, 80 degrees, but then a cooling trend into the weekend, only low to mid 70s Saturday and Sunday. Some overnight lows maybe into the 40s and maybe a chance of showers as we head into Monday and Tuesday. And then it looks like the summer warmth is back by the end of next week.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5. For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Inside Edition is up next, and we will see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.